Thank you, Ranvijay, for helping us with the setting up of the session, and Viniti as well. So once again, a warm welcome to everyone to this conversation that we are having with Mr. Gajendra Singh from Posana. It's all about Marwari horses, and I know we have certain amount of people in the audience over here, but there are thousands out there who adore and love these horses and would have loved to be part of this conversation as well, but that's not possible. So there were quite a few requests that we received, and at one point in time we had to cut off the new requests because we could not accommodate more than a certain amount of people. Right. So before we go into the session, let me first introduce you what we are as ISHEL. I'm sure most of the people, so allow me to do that. Okay. So ISHEL, we stands for Indigenous Sports Horse Equestrian League. That's the full form of ISHEL. And we are a focused group for the purpose of targeted development of indigenous horses of India into the modern day equestrian sport. So these are some of the core workings that we are working around. Spreading awareness of the indigenous sport horses of India nationally and globally. Provide a platform for constructive discussion on the various topics for these horses. Training and knowledge sharing initiatives, and participate in equestrian sporting events with teams of indigenous horses. So that in crux is what ISHEL is all about. And for the benefit of the audience, it must be noted that Marwari is one of the indigenous breeds of India. However, under ISHEL, we will be working with all the other indigenous breeds as well in wherever their applicability is for the modern day sports, and obviously the education that helps in the upkeeping and management of these horses. Okay. So for the purpose of this conversation, we have invited our guests from outside membership. Normally our conversations are for the members, but we thought that this topic is much more relevant to the people who are in the Marwari world and not perhaps the members of ISHEL. You can become members of ISHEL. You just drop the email if you want to become a member and work with us. You have the email address with you by now. For the purpose of the session, the ground rules are as follows. All of you have received ground rules on the email. There was some 10, 11 points over there. But in crux, be courteous. Contribute positively. This is a conversation. This is a conversation for benefit of our horses. So let's stand for our horses, and whatever good comes out of it, let's continue with those. Show respect to the audience as well as to the speaker. And these are the rules for any conversations we have, and abide by the session rules already circulated to you. Okay, I'll just give us brief structure to how this session is organized. I'm taking part of that 10 minutes that you see over there, the opening, to set the stage and to welcome all of you. Then the next section that we will go in is the host and the speaker interaction, which will be for about 60 minutes. Now, during this interaction, we have all the questions that we received from all of you that we have collated. We have grouped under various sections, and we will go through each of the sections, and hopefully all your questions will be answered over there. You will all be staying on mute, and that's a request that all of you stay on mute and let the interaction happen. All your questions will be covered over there. And if you have any comments or any further questions, you are more than welcome to put them into the chat box, and we will take it up as and when after the 60 minutes of interaction. Post that, we will have an open house for 15 minutes. Raise your hands. The host will allow you to speak, and you can speak. You're more than welcome to speak. But if one person is speaking, please do not interrupt that person in between and start speaking, because that we need to maintain that professionalism over here. There will be a session closing at the end of it. And post this session, you all have our emails You are more than welcome to give us the session feedback, any further questions that may lead into more further sessions about this topic that may help you. So that is how we have organized this conversation. And once again, welcome. Viniti, I will be handing over to you now. And Mr. Gajendra Singh Posana, I once again welcome you to the conversation. And I think it's one of the most important conversations in the Marwari horse world that we are having as members of ISHEL, because we need the education and the awareness around one of the breeds that we are working with, along with all the invited audience that we have over here. So I personally would look forward to a positive outcome from this conversation. Thank you so much. Viniti, you can take over.
Thank you, Vimal. Once again, thank you everyone to join this conversation, and I would like to specially welcome our international guests who have joined. And this session is a good introduction to one of our indigenous breed to the world. And I would like to thank you, all of you, for all the questions you sent us for the session. I must commend the quality of quality of questions we received. Thank you, Mr. Gajendra Singh ji, for affording your time to us. Also, what we have done here is we have consolidated all the questions received, and then from common questions, we have grouped it into the set. We will take up each the set, and this conversation will have a better flow. So, okay, and every one of you is welcome to give us questions in the chat box as well. At the end of the questions, we will be opening the floor for everyone, and whoever is having any of the question, please use raising hand option in the Zoom app, and then you will be invited to speak by our host. So, okay, let's start with the conversation. So firstly, I would like to ask you, sir, that can you please briefly explain us the history of Marwari horses?
Well, the history of Marwari horses. Am I audible? Can you hear me?
Yes, sir, we can hear you.
So there's a lot that has been told about the Marwari horse. In fact, it has served and contributed greatly to the history of this land. And somehow, in some ways, they've contributed in such a way that they are treated almost like a divine entity. You know, we treat them like gods. A word for a horse is with a lot of respect. You know, we don't use a word like which you speak in Hindi, like tu. It is aap. You know, it is revered with a lot of respect. There is a lot of mystery about the origin of the Marwadi horse, but as far as we go, we say this is one of the oldest breeds of horses in the world, which this belief is also supported by the findings of a lot of international people who've done a bit of genetic research. Also, the mythology that we have here supports this belief, because as per mythology, which is very ancient, the first of the horses emerged out of Samudra Manthan, which has a mention in Rig Veda and the Vedas and the scriptures that we have. That is very ancient, hundreds of years old. So there used to be mysteries of, you know, horses, Marwadi horses having blood of certain foreign breeds and this and that. Yes, of course, they might have influence of some breeds, you know, influence rather. Some strains of bloods do get here and there. I mean, but majorly it is an independent breed with people have connected it to the Akhal Teke, they've connected it to the Arabs also in a way, they've connected it to the Turkomanian breeds also. But recent developments have made us conclude that no, this is a breed of this nation, and it is because it has derived the characters because of being in this area. So there's a long chat that we can talk on the history of the horse, but I think we should confine to the conclusion that this is a very old breed of horses. It is amongst the few breeds of hot-blooded breed of horses in the world which are now left, and it is actually very distinct to the other sister breeds also. I mean, you could say not sister, but other dwelling breeds of the country also. It is very different to the Katiyawadi. It is different to the Sindhi. It is also different to the other pony breeds of the country. And it has maintained this identity for years, for centuries. And the focus of the breeders has also been such that mixing of blood has been rated very poorly in our sociology. People have actually discouraged through generations. They have been, mixing of other breeds into Marwadi was really discouraged. So that is what I think in a short span, this is what I would speak about it.
Okay, thank you. So now we'll start with the set of questions we have. And in that first set of question is on Marwari horse conformation. So we have got few questions from the audience, and Danyansh is asking that what are the breed conformation aspects one should look for over and above the neck. Then we have Divya Raj Singh Parmar, who is asking ki I want good conformation of real Marwadi. Like he wants to ask what is the good conformation of real Marwadi. Then we have Navdeep. He is asking ki face profile of Marwadi and conformation of breed, how it should be. Then we have Munjal Patel's questions. He is asking ki do Marwadi horses have any systematic anatomical frame of true breed? If yes, then explain it in detail. And if no, then please let me know the detailed information on how the horses are ranked in breed shows. Second is, do Marwadi horses have Roman and parrot nose as a breed character? Then we have MD who is asking, would like to know more about the breed conformation. Then we have Ranjit Khair asking, what is type? Do we have one universal agreed as a template of the breed? Can you cite any examples of true to type Marwadi horses, mare and stallion, for example? Then we have Apurva. He is asking that what things to be considered as true type Marwadi breed. Then there's one Vimal's question. He is asking what are the benefits of curved ear profile in this breed evolution? So yeah.
So before you answer that, for the benefit of the audience, we have received good number of questions, crossing about 60 or 70 of them. So all we have done is consolidated those questions in different section heads. And with Mr. Singh talking on the conformation, he would include those aspects in what he's talking about, the conformation of the breed. And I hope those questions will be answered over there. This is in the interest of having a seamless conversation and also saving time. Otherwise, we'll be having this conversation for more than 8-9 hours. So I hope all of you understand. Mr. Singh, yeah, you can continue, sir.
When I speak of the conformation, yes, the Marwadi conformation about the structure is almost relating to all international standards. We do follow all standards that are existing in the international breeds, what is prescribed for all sets of breeds. But there are certain points where we tend to differ as a Marwadi. First of all, let me tell you one thing, that the Marwadi horse is yet a under-discovered horse. We still need to find out a lot about the breed, read about the breed, know about the breed, about the uses that it has been put to, about the the way we manage our housekeeping and things like that. So every impact would lead to through generation, it would lead to a distinct feature. See, the Marwadi, basically, I mean, you talk about the structure, it is almost there, but when you talk about the neck, it is really different. It is different to a lot of other breeds. The Marwadi neck is it goes up. It is difficult for me to. This is my first exposure to speaking on the explaining things out here in the room, sitting here without a horse. But I would say it emerges out of the shoulders, going up in forward move in a forward direction with the neck, which is different to most other breeds. Unlike the Arab, it has got a higher head carriage. It has got almost, I mean, an ideal Marwadi would have a much higher head carriage than a Arab also. So it goes up there. Then you have the connection of the atlas and the axis bones, which leaves a cleaner throat latch. Also, it is forward going. Then you have a nice under neck also without a underhung portion. When you talk about conformations, yes, upside down necks are also to be discouraged like any other breeds. Eve necks are also be discouraged like any other breeds. Then you have acute angles at the place where the head meets on the underside of the neck, where the head meets the neck. There shouldn't be any acuteness of the angle. It should have a gradual turn into merging with the head. So that is also one thing that is required of us, of our horses. Then you come back to the croup. It is a biggish croup with a lot of power, depicting power, not a low set tail. It should have a well set tail, slightly on the higher side only. The croups are roundish, but not slopy, not too slopy. Yes. See, there is one more point where we come to. Marwadi is a collection of a lot of substrains of the breed within. Somebody has spoken of these things also. The oath. Oaths are basically confined to the region, to the owners, to the households. So they have their own particular features. They may have a different kind of a croup. The muscling may be different. The intensity of the density of the muscle is different. The size is different. The chest, the breadth is different. Maybe in the forehead, in the chest, in the croup, everywhere. So there is a lot of difference in the oath to oath. So now, as a breed, we are trying to collect all of them together and work towards a universally accepted Marwadi. So through the seminars that we've had in the past, we have tried to come to one conclusion, and where there is a range of an acceptability, where the judges should be trained to know about the various sets of oath and their features, and then try to accept them or reject them as a breed. So yes, I will speak on those questions again now. These are the, yes, they have an anatomical frame, which is true to breed. It is, I'm sure if one has witnessed horses, you would see a little commonness in almost all the horses that we have. So there is no doubt that has got this thing. The Roman nose, it used to exist in some, this is a breed which we are trying to revive. So when you're reviving a breed, we need to have enough bloodlines and enough gene pool to take it further. When you need to take it further, there are chances that some characters which are desired are not existing very much. I mean, people have through the word of mouth and through getting information from the seniors, they were desired characters, but somehow they don't exist. So we have to somehow try and get those features back into the system. So there have been times where Roman nose has come into us in some of the horses, but we actually prefer to have a flattish forehead starting right from the forehead to the middle nasal bone to right till the nostrils. A flattish frontal profile is preferable. Now you have a type. Which example of horses are good to type? There are so many horses which are true to type and good to types. When you see like my example, how I put it is, you have one type which is like Alibaba. He's slightly on the roundish shape. He's got a big quarter. He's got a big croup. He's got a broad shoulder and a neck which is carried high, but not so much of a lengthy neck. But then there are some horses which have a slightly lengthy neck with a much higher head carriages. So when you go into breeds and bloodlines, you would get to know that there are certain lines. Like in the recent times, there is a breed, there's a horse called Tufan, which has contributed greatly to the development of on the neck that is favored now. It is his sire also had a similar kind of a neck. So we somehow are, we are blessed to have such horses who have again revived this kind of neck to our horses. So this is about the thing. Then what other things that are to be seen in a horse for as a true to type? One thing which I always mention in all the talks that I've been through is to observe the skin of a horse. If you observe the skin of a horse, as a desert horse would always have a very fine skin. This gives its ability to, recuperate after a run or cool off. It is a very important necessity for a horse which has to perform. Then the neck, how it is different to other breeds. The head is also very different to most other breeds. It is many a times you would see a slightly depressed forehead with a slight raised nasal profile. But those are acceptable features. I mean, they shouldn't be too pronounced. Even a slight depressed forehead in stallions is visible, because many times it is because of the fatty deposits on the both sides. But it should not be mixed with a depressed forehead. Depressed forehead, because of the conformational, which is a Kachawadi features, is different. They have the eye sockets which are prominently bulging out. So that is a different forehead than a Marwadi. A Marwadi head, as compared to the other breeds, is people talk about the Marwadi head that it is a long head. No, it is not a long head. It is a medium long head. The neck, the nostrils have to be round and flaring. They should be big enough to accommodate and suck enough amount of air. The muzzle is supposed to be not very big, and the Kachawadi has a relatively smaller muzzle, but even a Marwadi is not supposed to have a too large a muzzle as many horses would have it. Then we come to the cheekbones. The cheekbones are slightly on the elongated side, unlike a Kachawadi, because it is near dweller to a Marwadi. The Katiyawadi would have a very prominently enlarged jaws, which are almost circular in shape and prominent. They are strong and powerful. A Marwadi would have a slightly elongated cheekbone, but the space between the jaws should be enough to accommodate. That does not, that is again conformation coming into play. Like, these are common features which every good horse which has to perform has to have. So that is there. Then the distance between the end of the cheekbone and the lip is slightly longer in a Marwadi than that of a Kachawadi. Slightly longer. Then we go back to the pole. The distance between or the distance between two ears has to be slightly more than that of a Katiyawadi. Katiyawadi head is no small. I mean, if you talk about the real kind of Katiyawadi head, it is also a good head showing intelligence with a broad forehead, very broad forehead. Even in the Marwadi, we do not appreciate horses having narrow foreheads. A bigger forehead is always good. If you talk about in the centimeters, I think it's supposed to be a stallion should have something like 21, 22 centimeters. And narrow foreheads with narrow legs are not very good features, and judges do denounce them while judging the shows. Then you talk about the ears. You would see a variety of ears in the Marwadi, and actually, if we could put it in this way, that ears are the things that have made this horse so alert and so different. It has these ears. Besides talking about the shape of the ears, these ears are such ears that can hear so much. The ability to listen to them is very high. The name of the first horse which came out of Samudra Manthan has the name of Ucheshrawa. Ucheshrawa, if you derive the meaning out of Ucheshrawa, is Ucha Shravan Shakti, ability to hear much more. The ability to hear much more makes it much more alert than rest of the other horses. So the shape of the ear, the fineness of the ear are major features that one must look for. And that is a horse with a very fine ear, which you could see the sunlight through it, or finer ear is blessed with much superior hearing ability. The shape of the ear is also Marwadi has a cup which is broader from the middle portion. The pinna of the horse, the pinna of the ear is broader, and it has a shape which supports the air intake. Here, I would like to get to your notice why there are people which there's a general concession. I mean, general discussion. People come and ask, what are the types of ear? As I always say, they start here. Marwadi ears start here. They face each other rather than there. They start here. They start here. They come down this way. They come down this way, and they also have tips which meet or overlap each other. Overlapping of tips is not such a bad idea or a bad feature, as if you have too much of a close ears, which moving closer to the ear, they have the pinna is also overreaching each other. Then it is a defect. It is not supposed to be such a good feature. So then the setting is also important. You should observe the shape of the ear. It should be broad in the middle. It should have finer tips, tapering at the tips, with finer hairline all around. There is a system of shaving off the ears and all. They have been gifted with to perform a role. All these hair and everything, even the side of the hair of a horse, they are supposed to catch the faintest of sound and things. So they are here for a purpose. So the inner hair also helps it keep it safe from the sand and the dust and everything. So these are also one of the important features. Then you have the space between the ears. It is not important for the ears to meet. Yes, two away ears having too much of a distance between the tips is not a desirable character. But horses which have just meeting tips, or slightly you have a half an inch of a space, that is all right. I mean, that is no wrong, but the shape has to be perfect, and it should be standing upright, not loppy ears. They are not preferred. So after the ears, this the tail setting I spoke about. Tail setting is also another character of the desert breed. If you're talking of a breed, it has to radiate heat out of its body. So these are the features which like the skin, the ability to carry its tail high also helps it get the heat out of the body, which helps in the performance of the horse. Any more questions from the conformation side? No, I think no.
No. Now, the second set that we have is conformation outlook. Shortfalls, conformation shortfalls. So here Vinita Saraki wanted to ask that the problem of sickle hawks in Marwari has been ignored for a longer time. They are being graded in shows and ignoring this aspect. So what's the actual logic behind it? Like, what is it? Then we have the Jnanish question, that conformational defects are very common in Marwari horses. These are sickle hocks, over at the knees, box hoofs. Then these faults are ignored and focused only on focus is only the bloodlines, height, color when promoting Marwari horses. Why so? Many times horses with toe out, box hoof, sickle hawk get ranked. They become breed show winning animals. Why is that so? So in summary, stallion and mares with this conformation defect continue to be used for breeding, and asking why is that being overlooked, right? So this is what he's saying. Then we have Maria Koi's question. I have seen Marwari horses with no good conformation, especially when you use the horse for riding or sports. The rear is higher and bigger than the front. This is not good for the back. I have noticed that a lot of people in India and some known breeders as well think it's beautiful. Probably they are not interested in sports or riding horses. If you keep on breeding like that, you will have serious problems like, for example, the hip of German Shepherd dogs. Yeah.
Well, we come to sickle hawks. So, having spoken on this issue, I mean, this issue was first spoken about by Raja Bhupat Singh ji of Ahmednagar, who was a pioneer breeder and a promoter of the breed. I have had long sittings with him and discussed on a lot of fronts on this issue. I don't think there are too many. We are promoting sickle hawks or anything like that. There is nothing like that. The shows, I don't know where people have spotted, because I haven't spotted too many sickle hawks being promoted as such. You know, yeah. Now talking about the horse, there are certain features. See, we are dealing with a breed which was nearing extinction. It was going in a very bad condition. The horses were not taken care of. People could not afford keeping horses. Good homes which could afford good horses, they did away with their housekeeping because it was somehow coming up to be expensive for them to maintain horses, to maintain their string. Medicines and doctors were difficult to get. So there were a lot of things which discouraged people from owning horses. So they went into poor homes, and many a times people, even besides being wealthy and all, they didn't take care of their horses. So that led to debility in horses. So debility gets in a lot of deformities also. So when you talk about, I would remind, I mean, I would like to tell everybody about the discussions we had with Raja Saab and some more elder people of the Marwadi horse fraternity who we would discuss it with. So actually, this is a very different breed to most other breeds of horses. It is very alert, unduly sensitive. It would, be interested in every leaf moving here and there and every dog barking here and there. It has got its interest in everything that moves around it. So it is always in a stance of, jumping or trying to move. So coming back to this sickled hogs, actually sickled hogs complemented with, if they have cow hogs with the sickled hogs, that's a very poor conformational fault as far as I go. I mean, that's a serious problem. But only sickled hog, I mean, I'm not promoting it, but I would tell you about the discussions that we had, that anything, when the horse is in an alert position, it needs to, it is always in an action or in a pose to jump or to be alert, to move. That makes it, it's leg movement slightly different. I mean, it appears to be that way, but rather than having it, a total, what do you call a sickled hog, it gives an impression of having a sickled hog rather than being a sickled hog. It is an impression of that. So we do not promote that. We do not promote that. But yes, it is a character worth discussions. More discussions we must have amongst ourselves to decide what is an ideal. I've been observing this feature for a long time, and some of the finer horses do not. I mean, I don't say that all of them have it, but some of these horses have shown that kind of the feature. But when you are dealing with a breed which was nearing extinction, you need to collect all the gene pool that you have today. Everything is rare and scarce. So we need to use each and every different gene pool that we have, and which has got some quality, which has got some ancestry, which is declared valuable by people of the past. So there will be times when some kind of raised nasal bones will come into the system, but we will slowly have to get rid of that. Too much of a sickle hog is bad, and we should discourage that as well. Cow hogs, of course, it's not a desirable character. We have to get away with that. But when there are times when there's a horse which is, told to us that this is from a very good ancestry and that would foal very well. So 10 out of, out of 10 progenies, you would have 7 which are very good, but the 3 would have that kind of a feature. So we somehow, land up having those features, but slowly with time, we are getting rid of them. Now you see a lesser amount of raised nasal bone horses than we used to have once upon a time. So slowly in time to come, we are rectifying the problems. We have introduced horses which gave us a lot of things. Horses like Tufan came into existence. He was given away. He was used in a brick factory. Bricks were loaded on his back. We got him back into the system. We told people about its worth. We used him ourselves. We told other people to use him and get progenies out of him. They are very rare now. The feature that he has given to us is the high head carriage, fine portion of the neck where it meets the head, highly alert and active progenies. They are not very dull or thing like that. So beautiful fine skin, very fine ears, but it would also have its shortfalls also. So now here we are working on a breed which was almost dissipated. So in my own way, I worked in such a way that where we got Alishan into the system, who was a progeny of Tufan. He contributed majorly to the breed. Yes, of course, everything is not so perfect. I mean, so it did leave its mark in some way or the other, but the goodness that has come out of that horse is immense. Out of Tufan also, he's contributed greatly out of this boy. And then the progeny of him, Dilbag, he's doing another wonders. He's solving out a lot of conformational faults also. And such, I mean, I shouldn't be talking about these horses alone. There are so many other horses where people have been working on them. They have contributed majorly to the breed. This is an example I'm trying to give about the three generations of this horse, Tufan, Alishan, and Dilbar. Yes. The next question.
Thank you, sir. Viniti, the next set.
Yeah, before proceeding, I would request everyone to switch on their camera, please. So yeah, next set of question is breeding. So Apurva is asking that what are the important things we need to consider for breeding. Then Ranjit Khair is asking, I have heard that oath is from the mare side and not the stallion side. This was our traditional stud book. Then why did we switch to stallion dominance over mares? If we are to keep the oath intact, then gene pool for a stallion and a mare coming from the oath is the same. How come stallions doesn't convey to the next generation and only mare does? Then we have Divyaraj Singh Parmar. He's saying that what are the important inbreeding drawbacks? How many generations will skip in line breeding? Secondly, we have Aditya Gadvi. He's saying why we are supporting inbreeding. Almost every breeders in India are doing it. I have a list of inbreed horses. Then we have Apurva's question again. How much percentage will be counted from sire side and dam side in breeding? Then we have a question from Maria Coy. I know the stallions have DNA tested nowadays, but are the stallions tested for hereditary defects? For example, hydrocephalus or other severe genetic abnormalities. I saw some prices of Marwari breeders asking for covering that are much higher than the best stallions in Europe. What are which are tested for all that? Also, the offspring and the stallions pass different strict tests in sports. So the third question is, why is the price so high? Then we have Sheikh Yasir's question. I want to know a detailed information about the breed characteristics of a Marwari horse. Suggestions on breeding and his preferences while selecting two bloodlines to breed. Then we have Vimal's question. What are the possibilities of the Marwari breed genetically related to the Akal Teke of Central Asia? Then we have Munjal Patel's question. What are the lines or lineage and why is Alishan line so expensive? Do they have any extraordinary features or characters which made a favor in breed or some great contributions? Is there any link between Katiyawadi horses and Marwari horses? If yes, then please explain in detail. And do Arab horses originally belongs to our land zone? Which are the topmost bloodlines of Palace who are a blessing for the survival or restoration of the Marwari breed? Then we have question from Kuru. How do we get over the genetic trait of the Marwari to enhance its mane and tail in view of competing with the Arab horses globally? If we can improve the mane and tail of the Marwari horse to be a part with the Arabian, we can surely get above the Arabian breed on the global perspective. Because the Marwari is far beautiful and capable than the Arabian horse in every other aspect. So yeah.
There's a loaded questions. It'll be difficult for me to answer all of them.
Absolutely.
I don't remember. I doubt I'll be able to remember them also. But anyways, what are the important things? Important things need to be considered for breeding. What do you look for? First of all, one must know the objective of breeding. Why do you want to breed? What do you want to use the horse for? The objective. If you want to breed for market, you have to breed what is needed in the market. If you want to breed for sports, you have to see characters and features that would suit your particular sport. There'll be a horse which would be different for a flat race, and a horse which would be different for a show jumping. So you would have to breed accordingly. So for anything that you want to breed, genetics play a major role. If you know the genetics, if you know who are the dam, sire, granddam, grandsires, then you would know what gene pool to use for that particular reason, that particular product. So genealogical support is always important. You need to and genealogy is always, I mean, when you talk about genealogy, it has to be supported with the structure. I mean, you have to study the structures that you want to produce, and then breed accordingly. We are talking about oath now. Oath is from the mare side. Yes, the mare in the Marwadi world, oath is oath means sub clan or sub line of a horse, which is inside of a. See, Marwadi is a bigger name. So within the Marwadi, we have 16 substrains. And all of these substrains had their own individual characters once upon a time. Thus, these characters happened because of the kind of management, kind of use they were put to, kind of breeding they went into, and topography, area also. Area in the sense, I mean, it is all majorly a desert area, but availability of green grasses or dry fodder that led to about inch or 2 inches of size. Sorry, I got disconnected. Am I audible now?
Yes, sir. You briefly got muted yourself, but it's fine.
Yeah. I got a call from some side. So anyways, so these horses relate to the, they had their own classical features which don't exist anymore. There were breeds like Chabilias who were brave, we were courageous, who would barge into a crowd. They were known for this kind of a feature more than their physical features. They would dash into a public full of lathis or swords or whatever it was. They were known for their bravery. Like the Vanglias, they were different. They were much elegant and different horses. They had slightly longish necks, higher head carriages, finer necks. They were different. Then they were Ladkiyas. They were also a lot who were again brave, known for their wartime use, and they had their own features, big chest and big quarters, and good structures, good conformations and all. So we had all these trains which existed once upon a time, but it is difficult to, because now everything has become very global. There was a time where these horses were bred within that particular area, that particular zone, and they bred with similar kind of horses that led to that monotony in their genes. They again bred such offsprings also, which were just like them only. So it continued for a long time. Now world has become very different. Horses from Tamil Nadu go to breed with horses in Rajasthan or maybe in Punjab or up there, wherever. So now everything has become very easy. In this last 20 years, everything has changed. People prefer to go, everybody wants to go and breed with the best. So yes, many people use when you're talking about the oath, people use what is best. I mean, if they have a mare which has got no ancestry as such, so they would call it or put it on the name of the sire that has come from. So if the sire is a Mani Odka stallion, which is again known for its beauty and spirits, they would start calling it a Mani Odka mare. I mean, of course, the sire was money, the dam wasn't money, but people call it. So it is difficult in today's time. We have done a little bit of work also, but it is very difficult to even the horses which are Chabilis, Ladkiyas, Bodliyas, they are not carrying their own features which was known to them. Many of them do carry, but many of them don't. Mani is still known to be carrying a little bit of thing. Like the Tajans, there are so many types of Tajan. One of the Tajans, they do carry their legacy because they get into good homes where people know and value them for their backgrounds, for their oath. So that is where they take them on. Like Ladkiyas, Lad is a word which means love, affection. They got a lot of affection from their owners. So it's a breed called Ladkiya. So they all had these characters which they, besides the phenotypical characters, there were some other temperamental characters which existed in these horses, which continued for a long time. So it is difficult. I mean, people here today, the older generation, even in our areas where people were, they kept information about every horse that they had or everything. Now we are losing out on those older generation of men or people who used to tell us these stories. They used to narrate to us how things were important. Now everything is moved very fast, so people don't have so much of a time to create, or rather, tell tales. Children don't sit with their grandfathers. They don't listen to these stories which we were lucky to listen to. We never had TV, so that was only entertainment we had. So we had to go and listen to those things. Now they are basis of some of the studies that we do. So how, if we are to keep the oath intact? Yes. Now, how do we keep the oath intact? You need to focus on the features that we had. You have to do a research into go into the homes where these breeds that you patronize or which you have come from. You have to know their characters and breed with a similar type of a. It is again a research, lot of work. A normal breeder will never be able to do all that work. So it is difficult. But the ones that the breeders that are lucky enough to have some of these strains should continue to maintain their identity. Why are we supporting inbreeding? Nobody supports inbreeding. It is lack of information or lack of opportunity. I mean, if a person is see, there are times when these things do happen. They do happen. Even in the older times, there were a lot of times when a stallion would breed with a mare which it was never supposed to breed. These incidences happen. But as a purpose, yes, these times people have they buy again, like this question from Ranjit ji. People do not have the information about their oath or their ancestry. One must know. So that is where stud book comes into play. If we get our horses registered through the stud book, we will know the ancestry of that particular horse. So those are the horses to be avoided. At least 3 generations or 4 generations, if you can avoid, it will be very nice. At least 3 generations we must try to avoid. So if you do not have a stud book in place, there is no other place where you can know the ancestry, and hence we should not go to a direction which we are heading to if we are going for inbreeding. It is lack of information that is leading to this problem, I would say. Yeah, now the DNA from Maria. Maria, we are in a place where we have no means of even getting a good vet. We have to learn the practices of treating our horses ourselves. A basic colic would put us into a lot of problem. So we have to have a lot of practical daily routine systems where we don't need to inject or do systems where, do methods where we can get rid of the colic without having to inject the horse. So these are major questions. We would love to do that as a society and as fraternity of the Marwadi horses. That is what is in the plan. Somehow later on, when we start doing these kind of works on DNA. Now, DNA is also a recent thing. We have started doing DNA on a larger basis, but that is majorly for parental diagnosis, parental knowing. So but as far as Marwadis go, there we haven't come across too many of these deformities as such. Yes, random events do happen, but yes, because of inbreeding, I see a lot of cases which don't come into the market because person himself is ashamed of breeding such a horse, or he's sad about breeding such a horse, which is a product of too close a breeding, where a horse would end up with very odd body features, just like it might just not have a kidney, it might have one, it will be born without an eye, things like that. So these are problems which come into existence. We do not encourage as a society, we do not encourage inbreeding at all, but it does happen. I mean, people are ignorant. This is the reason why I've come on this forum, and we have collected here to discuss these things and to discourage such things. Yeah, now possibilities of Akal Teke. This is a general. Akal Teke and Marwadis are two different type of horses. If you observe the Akal Teke, it is a leaner horse with hardly any muscle mass on it. I mean, it has muscle mass, but it does not have the ability to put on weight. Whereas if you see the Marwadis, even in the older paintings, they would have larger croups. They would have a larger arched necks with lot of mass on them, lot of big chests. I mean, if you try to put on weight onto those horses, it will be easy to accumulate. I mean, they just catch the weight without any much difficulty. Whereas an Akal Teke is too different to a horse. I mean, I would say they are two breeds. I mean, genetics, I don't know. I'm not a specialist of genetics, but they are as far as physical similarities go, they are absolutely two breeds. Again, coming to Munjal's question of lines and lineages, why certain lines are very expensive. See, what is rare, what is difficult to get, or what is throwing something which is really sought after. I mean, which gets preferences in riding. It performs well, it rides well. It will be expensive. So this is why there is no reason. I mean, anything can be expensive. We have been judging horse shows for a long time. There have been times when a horse out of the blue would have certain characters and he wins, and he belongs to a very small man. I mean, it does not matter. I mean, who's the owner, but the horse, when judging, is competing with certain horses which are not so good. They may have good genes, but phenotypically he is far superior and he wins, and a lot of horses win like that. So it is no issue that only such will win or such those will not win. But when you come to breeding, it does matter. When you have the right kind of genes, you would be able to breed in a better way. Is there any link between Kachawadi and Marwadi horses? Yes, I mean, we are horses. These are horses from the same topography, but as a breed, breed, they are two distinct breeds with almost all the features are absolutely different. We start from the head. Heads are different. The Katiyawadi has got a got a smaller head with a very broad profile, with a very concavish nasal profile, fine muzzle, very fine muzzle, flaring nostrils. But here again, I come to the fact that it is very different to an Arab head. I mean, if you talk about, or if you observe them for a while, you will notice a lot of differences between the things. Then you come to the ears. Ears are very different. The Kachawadi ears are slightly narrow. The pinna is narrower in the Kachawadi than that of a Marwadi. The tips meet up there. They are in a sword, although they also have varieties of scorpion sting type of ears and varieties, but majorly it is ears meeting up there, and the space between the ears is also narrow. Then you come to the neck. Even the Katiyawadi neck is beautiful. I mean, but it does not have as much a high head carriage as the Marwadi has got. Come back to the crew. Sorry, I got cut off again. I got a call. The Marwadi would have a slightly longish back than that of the Kachawadi. The Kachawadi would have a croup which would be almost flat and a very high head tail setting. Unlike a Marwadi, Marwadi would be slightly roundish or maybe slight slopey. Not too much, but yes, slight slopey. But yet that would also have a higher tail setting. Then you would talk about the height. There is a lot of difference between the height of a Marwadi and a Kachawadi, which everybody knows. The breadth, which was once the most important feature of the Kachawadi, which I have been going to Katiyawadi for good 25-30 years now, but now I see it on the lesser side. Now they do not have access to the fields and the acres of grasslands that it used to have. Probably that is the reason of the reducing breadth at the chest, at the forehead, at the croup, and everything. So that may be the hoofs, which are very special to the Kachawadi. Kachawadi's got very special hoofs, very hard hoofs. I've been to the seminars where they say that it has got double soles. I don't know how they say, but they claim that the Kachawadi horse has got double soles. These horses are known for their hard hooves and biggish size. Compared to the size of a horse, the size of a hoof of a Kachawadi is much bigger. And unlike the Marwadis, many we would see a lot of horses with almost flattish heel. You would rarely come across a Kachawadi who has got so much of a flattish heel. So very prominent coronary band as well in the Kachawadi. The band of a Kachawadi is very prominent. So these are the features. The cannon bone of a Kachawadi is shorter, and the forearm is on the longer side, whereas the Marwadi would have a slightly longish cannon bone. So these are the features. As a breed, they are different, but they have the features which made it. Eye is another very big feature of a Kachawadi. Eyes of a Kachawadi are very prominent eyes and big bulging eyes. They come out like a toad. They are known for their eye size also. So these are the basic features between the Kachawadi. Yes, there are two different breeds. When you start working and observing the horses, you will notice a lot of difference. But when you talk on an amateur level, they see everything. I mean, everything looks similar. The fact that the ears meet, so you can't call them as a similar breed. They are two different breeds. Yeah. Next question.
In the interest of the time, we should jump to the next section.
Yes.
So we have about half an hour left before we open the house. So Viniti, just try and see if we can get through in the next half an hour. Thank you.
Okay. So next set we have is height, in which we have questions from a lot of people. So Yash is asking that as a structure, Marwari horse are lean and mostly have thinner bone profile as compared to other breeds from a cooler region. Are these attributes not a challenge for today's production of Sky Scamber Marwadi? What must be a good height for a balanced Marwadi horse? Then Aditya Gadvi is asking, what is the ideal height of Marwadi horses and your views on 68, 69 and 70 inches tall Marwadi horses? Then Atharv Shirole is asking, I hold a skew-bald stallion with perfect Marwadi height, that is 62.5 inch on scale. Why are people preferring colors and height 64 plus for ideal Marwadi characters and a variety of phenotype? How and when will horse lovers understand a perfect Marwadi horse? Then Munjal is asking what is true or perfect height of the Marwadi to be considered as Marwadi horse breed. Then
see, there is when we did the breed characters of the Marwadi horse, we had it twice. I mean, we had it at Umedban Palace, where our patron in chief Maharaja Gat Singh Sahab, he opened the palace for all the breeders to assemble there and discuss the fact, each and every body character of a horse for 3 long days. We had 4 sessions per day, and we concluded by the end of the thing. So by that seminar, and again at Hisar, which was done on a government level, where Director Animal Husbandry Government of India was there, we decided we scripted the characteristics of the Marwadi horse, where every aspect was discussed, and finally we have a range for different biometrical parameters for the Marwadi horse, where the height says in a male it is 152 to 165 centimeters. Okay, and for a mare it has to be 150 to 165 centimeters. It is a range where you have given a range. Now, if it is anything is falling into the range, everything is all right. This was actually a range to accommodate the biggest horses and the smaller horses also, because we were dealing with, see, our purpose was to conserve the breed. So there were some horses which were slightly on the bigger side. We needed to include them also to increase the gene pool of the horse. That was far more necessary at that particular time. That was long gone by. So that is a range. Yes, if you add more than that, and then the range is this. Now it depends on the organizers. Where do you fit in your judging patterns? I mean, you have to decide, because this is a government authorized range that has been given to you. So I personally I would prefer that we should follow the guidelines, because it is a universally accepted format, and we have international people also on the forum. I'm sure they would also agree that coming out of the range will lead to a lot of problems in our horses. They would not be so spirited. They would land up with ailments, with problems, in hooves, with back, and a lot of things. So I suggest that we maintain the range that is given to us. Yes, Vinti.
Okay, so moving on to our next set, it's sports. Yash is asking that, do Marwari have what it takes to be a modern day sports horse? Then Sambit is asking why no one train their expensive bloodline Marwari horses for any modern horse sports nowadays. Aditya Gadvi is asking why Marwari horses shows don't do anything for sports. Then we have Divyaraj Singh Parmar. He is asking in which sports Marwari horse can prove himself. Then Ranjit Khair is asking, we are always told that we are competing with Arabs internationally, etc. But we are lagging. What are the few things we can do as independent horse owners to collectively get there? Yeah, these are the questions.
See, individually, we must take up a sport. I mean, we have to select the right horse for a particular sport. If you are they've shown a lot of promise in endurance. These Marwadi horses have shown a lot of promise in endurance. Our young riders have put up a fantastic show even in dressage. About a few years ago, we had Shandar, which was trained for endurance, perform in a beautiful way at Jodhpur shows. And last year we had, this year in fact, we had Rajyavardhan Rathore from Kelwa. He performed on a dressage, and he's winning also at national level. He's won quite a few things. See, what needs to go besides asking for a thing, the conformational consideration or requirement for a sport is same for all breeds. I mean, you have to select the right horse and put it to good kind of training. Actually, as I started, I said that this is an underdiscovered horse. There is a lot of potential in this horse. So make use of your horse that you have, train him, select the right horse, then train him for the right purpose, make sure that it has the right temperament also, because that is a very important thing for a particular sport. If that horse has the right temperament and also the physical structure to support that kind of a sport, it will do fairly well. It is a fairly intelligent breed. I mean, very intelligent breed, sensitive. Yes, it is slightly sensitive, but if you have the right kind of coaching and training, I'm sure it will perform majorly. It is done very well even in show jumping. A lot of people have tried them, but they had the right kind of horses. If you take a regular horse, Marwadi horse, it will definitely tend to rush. That was his thing. So it is your training which will prove the worth of a horse in these kind of sports. So together we all have to try for, because this is another thing, we can open up a huge market for the patrons and lovers of this breed. They would have a beautiful horse performing in these sports, but provided we go ahead with the kind of infrastructure and facility that they have in Maharashtra and Punjab and Gujarat and everywhere today, even in Rajasthan. I'm sure if we select the right horse and introduce it to the right sport, it will perform fantastically well. There's no reason why it will not perform. And even the best of horses, like somebody said that why aren't the best of horses put to sport? No, there have been times when Shandar was a horse which was sold at a huge amount of money. After having sold, it was got back and trained for dressage, and it performed fantastically well. He's no more, but it did perform. He was one of the better stallions we have. But he proved his worth in the dressage arena. Yes, Vinti.
Sir, I would just like to add on to that section.
Yes.
As ISHEL, and I'm adding on because it's important to the cause that we have in ISHEL. We are running programs and we are running clinics for getting these horses sports trained and sports fit. You know, the mindset has to be there, the abilities have to be there, the training has to be there. One of the good things, and you know, we take pride in announcing this, and you know, it's announcement in this group, but it has been happening for the past few months, that Mr. Imtiaz Anis, who is the Indian Olympian who participated, represented India in the 2000 Olympics, has also come on to the project with us. And he, in fact, last month did a camp as well for these horses and the riders from the rural backdrop. And that was very meaningful, and I was present there personally. From my stable, you know, I'm more inclined towards sports, so that's been something that I've been driving with my horses and with my riders. We have gone to the Delhi Horse Show, we have gone to the Jaipur Horse Show. At Jaipur Horse Show, I have two horses who have been gold medal winners over there, and also kind of very well received in the Delhi Horse Show. I think in time, with very targeted efforts, we will get there. I also believe that there is no reasons why these horses can't perform in sports. But the thing is, it's saying that they can't perform or they can perform in sport is a different thing altogether, to actually working on that aspect and having a training regime, having a knowledge regime, having coaches in there, not only for the horses, but also for the riders as well. So there's a lot to do over there, but you know, the crux of the thing is I've tried it with my horses and there's no reasons why these horses can't perform in the arena. We just have to get together and we just have to kind of believe in the cause and work towards the cause apart from just believing in the cause.
It's the right time. I think, I suppose it's the right time when this organization like this Equestrian Sports League has come into, you know, they've taken up this cause. It is actually a greatly needed cause. Now, this is where this is the future of our horses. I know you can't always keep exhibiting your horses on the show rings and all. And what are we judging for? We are judging to ensure that tomorrow when the horses are put to use, they have a sound structure and characters to perform. But unless you perform, you have a good vehicle, you have a good car, but unless you use it, it's going waste. So that's the right direction you are moving, and I wish you all the luck, Vimalji, and your team. This is amazing. I mean, sports is one thing which is now needed for our horses. And I'm sure once we open this venue, and let me also tell you about this thing. I mean, we have polo in Jodhpur. We have a long polo season. I mean, it's a majorly, I mean, it's a thoroughbred industry, and people have thoroughbreds and some other breeds of horses in polo. We have international people also playing here. But somehow last year, I mean, last polo season, I insisted on a lot of good polo players to use Marwadis as their umpiring horses. They said, wow, this is a great idea. I mean, it's such a fantastic looking horse, but it just has to get going with the ball and the stick. I mean, a little bit of work here and there and all, they'll perform. I mean, at least not to be played, but for that matter, one of our breeders, Ajit Nandal has been doing these polo, what do you call it? Another kind of polo, arena polo in using Marwari horses. So there are a lot of activities which are not coming to the information of everybody else, but there is a lot of action going on. There was a endurance ride even in Jodhpur. We have young riders here who have come and made a team just like yours, and they have a weekend endurance ride every weekend. So that's an amazing effort, and this is what we are. That's where our future lies. Tomorrow, that is where we need to take the equestrian fraternity to.
Absolutely, sir. In the last national endurance event, there was one team that was ISHEL team. There were 7 riders as ISHEL over there. So that came through our training. This year in October, we are planning, like you gave an example of the car. You know, with the car, it's just not the car, you know, the engineers have to build the car and the driver has to drive the car. So equal emphasis has to be placed on the coaches as well as the riders of these horses. The horses on themselves can't be flying over jumps without riders and coaching. So we are focusing on that as well. There's a team of rural riders that we are planning along with Imtiaz sir to bring overseas in October. That will be a good exposure for them. From an arena polo point of view, for the last 3 years, I've been training my own horses. I'm a polo player myself. So I've been training the horses, and God willing, this year we'll have our tournament as well, the first ISHEL polo tournament foundation as well. So yes, yeah, things are happening. You know, I'm saying that for the benefit of the audience. That might be a good information. Viniti, sorry to hijack you. You can carry on with your next set.
Thank you. Our next set is breeding for sports, in which we have 2 questions from Sambit. What selective breeding is being done to promote Marwari horses as a sport horse? Why can't we do mixed breeding of the Marwari horses with other Desi horses or foreign sports horse to make our own Indian sport horse as done by other countries who are good in equine sports?
See, selective breeding for sport. We already have a lot of horses. We need to use them, and somehow, as a person who's worked with the breed, I am against the idea of mixing breed for sport at the moment, because the condition of the present situation where we are going through, it's a very sensitive place we have reached. We are already losing a lot of good animals. They are going away without having their progenies in enough numbers. Tomorrow we might reach a situation where it is a bottleneck situation. So I somehow feel that we need to use whatever we have to the best of its ability. And then, I mean, I would not prefer mixing of breeds. I mean, unless you want to do it with a purpose, which is very thought of and purposely planned, with horses which are no good in the Marwadi scenario, then you can put those particular horses for that particular sport and all. But I would suggest that we continue with the stock that we have today. We as a fraternity are doing fantastically well. Our breeders from all over the country today are exhibiting their horses in the best possible manner. Our show class, the showiness in the shows have greatly improved. The photographers are doing a wonderful job. They are taking amazing pictures. The show organizers are doing a fantastic job. They are having shows all over the country. people get an opportunity to take their horses. Yes, there are difficult times when things don't happen according to their wishes or their things. But yes, there is a lot of awareness. Everybody is talking about horses. So I'm sure in times to come, things will be even more better. Yes, Binti.
Okay, so now next set we have management and maintenance, in which Yash is asking, people say Marwadi horses need less maintenance than most of the horse breed, the other horse breed. Is that true? Then Athar Shirole is asking, what supplementation is preferred for a mare and stallion, and how to plan and quantify a diet to keep the horse at its peak physicality? Is lucerne grass ideal natural supplement? Vimal is asking, what are your views on high carb diet to fatten up a genetically lean horse for show purpose? Do you think that the Marwari horse breeders of today have adequate equine management knowledge and skills? Tips on taking care of newborn foal in terms of diet, medication, vaccination, and grooming. Munjal is asking, what should a new horse lover know or learn before buying a good foal, filly, or mare or stallion for not getting cheated or misguided? Apurva is asking that knowledge on feed management based. Yeah.
Yes, the Marwadi, if you keep it in the proper way, I mean, everything depends on how comfortable you are with your horse and the horse is with you. So if you manage to keep your horses at ease, he will never be a managemental problem for you. If you have horses at home, or if you have other animals at home, and if you've raised your horses, it is for a person who's been owning horses for a long time. It's no difficult thing. I mean, it's really actually very simple and very basic. Yes, they are light eaters. Horses, Marwadi horses, the purer ones, they even when you give them the concentrate form, they are light on concentrate also. Very rarely would some horses go out of their limits to eat too much and all. So they are light eaters basically. Lucerne, yes, lucerne is the thing that has been fed to our horses for generations. I mean, especially our parts. We come into an area which is between the Javai and the Luni river basins. That particular area has had a lot of water for a long time. And these horses have they were given lucerne throughout the year, round the year. There were times when many of these horses are fed lucerne and they are not even given concentrates. So even in spite of not being given the concentrates, they are yet fantastic in condition. The system of deworming your horse is also new to our area and our parts, but they've done fantastically good in spite of not being given these dewormers and all, because I mean, this is a new introduction. Now people have started using, doctors have gone inside the breeding areas. Now they tell them to take care of horses with starting with deworming and grooming and a lot of vaccinations and all other things. They fed well. I feel they have a lot of good immunity as well. I mean, they are not prone to problems as such. Although on a national level, we have this problem, babesia, as a major problem. But in spite of babesia, many of the carriers don't show that kind of gloominess that one would have. So I suppose they've done well. But now when we get back into that artificial feeding, these problems I mean, just like the babesia will flare up if they put them on pellets and on the artificial feeds that one supplies to these horses. So I'm sure I know a lot of people who only give pellets to their horses. But I personally feel natural is the best way of keeping your horses. It is close to nature. You deworm your horses at time. Somebody's asked for vaccinations. Your vet would tell you all the vaccination problem with schedules. It is very important to vaccinate your mare and the foal before foaling for TT and after foaling also, and thereafter on a regular basis. Whatever your vet suggests, you must take your advice from the vet for these things. High carb diet to fatten up horses. Yes, there is, I mean, in the past few shows, we have actually been, marking them on a lower level because of their over fatness also. I mean, some horses are over fat. So we denounce them. When you talk about a horse coming to show rings, one has to represent the class it is entered in. If it is a stallion, it has to be a stallion type. If it is a mare, it has to be a mare types. A filly can't look like a mare, or a mare can't look like a filly, and things like that. So it has to be supportive in that manner. So they tend to, when you don't exercise your horse too much, or even if you exercise and if you overfeed them, giving them liver supplements and then making them eat a lot of concentrates, they do tend to put on weight. The Marwadis are known to put on weight. So, but too much is not good. I mean, you should, if you have a foaling mare, it should not be in an over fat condition. It is suggested that it should be in a mild shape, which is not too fat and not too light as well, not bone showing types also. So this is my thing. Tips of new foal. So these are basic things. You get them all on the internet. Diet for a foal. It has to have the facility to eat with the mare. The mare encourages, or rather, when you give concentrates, it will start eating with the mare. Then you start feeding the mare, it will start eating also. After a few days, it will start nibbling on the lucerne or whatever you give the mare. So it has to have availability. The magner should be in such a position that where a foal can also eat out of the supplements or the feed that is given to the mare. That is it.
Okay, Vinity, your next set.
Yeah.
Just before you go over there, Vinity, one of our next conversations coming very soon, and I'm saying this because it's pertinent to some of the questions, components in the questions that were there. We will be having a conversation with Dr. Mirza, who is quite renowned in the veterinary circles, equine veterinary circles. He's from Bombay. He's also father of Mr. Fawad Mirza, who represented India in the the last Olympics. He would be talking to us on various aspects of, foot care, lameness, vaccinations, and everything. But it's just for the information of the audience for now. If you want to attend that session, you guys are more than welcome to send me an email on the ISHEL email address. Yeah, Vinity, go on.
Okay, so next set is stabling, and we have question from MD. He is asking that in my numerous places, I have seen that due to lack of discipline, good horses are suffering from many visible and invisible traumas day by day. What are your views? How can we improve these conditions? Then Vimal is asking, what is an ideal stabling conditions for the Marwari horses? And do you endorse the use of ankle ties? Yeah.
See, you a breeder, a Marwadi breeder, or be it any breeder or any animal owner, has to have compassion in him. If you do not have compassion or love for your animals, you should not keep horses, or for that matter, any other animal. So compassion is one thing which even our poets have sung about compassion. We forget compassion. We have in our scriptures, we have been told to respect our horses. It is not only compassion, but to show respect. So we go one step ahead also with this thing. So there would be a lot of places, but majority of the breeders today, I mean, I'm sure MD travels a lot and he sees a lot of horses, but majority of them now have started taking care of their horses. Most of them, everybody is like, you go to stud farms, they are fantastic. They are as good as some of the finest stables in the world. Some of the stables that we have for Marwadis are best in the world. They are fantastic. They have fantastic facilities for the horses. Stabling conditions for the horses, what I would prefer is like I mean, it's different for all kind of horses. I mean, for foals and fillies, and you should have a lot of free rolling areas where they could get out to play and run and almost catch a, be able to gallop and not have to stop abruptly, that kind of a space. For mares also, it is advisable to, I mean, you have a box where you keep them in the night, leave them out in the daytime. If you need to groom them also, about hobbling also, ankle ties. Yes, we have had this system for generations. Probably this is how, this is like also sensitizing our horses also, even the young foals and fillies, and they are kept like that. It is not it is actually done in a, if it is well done, it is done in a very compassionate way. It is not to harm the horse in any way. It is easier to groom the horse for a particular time. He's easy and okay with touching him every here and there and all. So it is done, but throughout the day, it becomes difficult for the horses. So we must let them out in the daytime, morning. If you have grooming times, you do it, but not on a regular thing. Yes.
Okay. So our next set is bodies and organizations. Sambit is asking that, do we have any database like we have for show quality Marwari horses? Why Marwari Horse Federation is only conducting conformation horse shows and not any shows for sports like jumping, dressage, tent pegging, etc.? What stable management support, like making available trained grooms, farriers, trainers, medical, and etc., is being initiated by Marwadi Society, but to help Marwadi horse owners to maintain their horse better, will also result in more horse owners. Then Ranjit Khair is asking, do we have a Marwari stud book? Can I get a link to it, or can we see an annual report of the stud book? How many horses in its database? How many horses are there in its database, etc.? Do we have a specified and confirmed breed standard? Where is it published? Does it need to be updated because the horses have changed since the breed standard was made? Then we have a question from Vimal. He is asking, how does a farmer compete with powerful breeders?
Yeah. Yes, we have a database for the show horses. I mean, I again have to come back to the souvenirs that the Marwadi Horse Society has been publishing every year. You need to see it. There are a lot of information on these things. So database is there, and then we do conduct other kind of shows also. There have been endurance rides that have been made, but it is, see, we are dealing with Marwadi horses. And the money that we gather is not coming from the government side. Rarely, especially in Rajasthan. I mean, Punjab, yes, we were fortunate to have the government then under Sardar Sukhbir Singh ji, who sponsored a lot of events for the sake of the breeders, and it was fantastic. But Gujarat is also doing their bit in a way, and some other, Maharashtra is also. I think Maharashtra, it is majorly from the breeders associations only, where they gather up and they collect their fund and then spend there besides one or two. So when you are short on funds and all, it is all through coming from the breeders themselves. So when you have a government organization who can do that, then only, these things come up. So whenever there are shows, we, I mean, yes, majority of shows are just breed shows. They are show in hand class judging only. But there are shows where you have the tent pegging, where you have the dressage shows, where you have the things also. So there are shows. Probably this, I mean, one may not have access to the information on them. Yes, the stable management. There used to be a certification course at Jodhpur for the grooms and the boys. They used to work here for a while at the palace, at the thing. They used to get a certificate from the Marwari Horse Society secretary, and it used to enable them to go and work for stud farms all over the world. For farriers, there is we have Mr. Bernard, who's running a school. Anybody interested can go and join them. And for medical and all, the NRC conducts clinics. One can go and attend them and learn something out there, which will make you, if you're not a degree holder in veterinary science, you can't become a doctor, but yes, they'll introduce you to the basic management and a small amount of treatments also. Then there are organizations like this Sports Equestrian League, Indigenous Sports Equestrian League. They are also working for students who can learn, because sports like endurance, where they are doing, is a lot to learn. It is more of the owner or the rider than the horse winning. So it is a lot of education which through Indigenous Sports Association, I mean Equestrian League, they can promote for the betterment of the breeders and the sports people for the horses. Stud book. I'm amazed why Ranjit Kher Bhai has asked this question. Do we have a Marwadi stud book? He has already participated in one of the shows, and now asking this question is some. I mean, I feel he should be knowing of it. There is a link. I mean, he's won a show here. His horse has stood as the champion of the show. That is a highly respectable show. And if he doesn't have a contact, I'll put him through to the registrar and the secretary. They can be of help, and they can give him whatever information he wants on the database and the horses registered. As of now, I know that there are 200 stud farms registered all over the country for the Marwadi horse, and there are over 2,500 horses now registered, or probably now reaching 3,000 horses for the in the stud book. Now coming to Vimalji's question, how does a farmer compete with powerful breeders? You will see it every other day when a farmer gets his good horse. I mean, it has to be a good horse. There are regular people winning a lot of things. I mean, a lot of shows. It does not matter whether a horse owner is mighty or not. The horse has to be perfect for that particular class that we are judging. So it really matters. I mean, even when a breeder goes into a thing, when you talk about not shows, but the breeding part also, there are, I see, even today, I got a news of a person who's a very old breeder, one of the older breeders, who's himself close to 90 years of age. And I put him up on, I regard him as a very renowned person. He sold his horse for a huge price even today. So there are a lot of normal village folks who are breeders. They are selling horses for a good price, probably provided they have the right kind of blood. If you have the right stock, then you multiply and give it out. People will be, ready to buy them on any prices. But if you don't have the right stock, they won't buy it from the mightiest person also. So it really, you have to have the right gene pool to give away to people, So this is my answer.
Thanks, Vinidhi. I'll just add on to that section where we spoke about some assistance from the organizations. ISHEL as an organization understands that there's a lot of requirement of knowledge and learning in the equestrian space, specifically in India, and also more specifically in the indigenous horse world. But irrespective of what horse we are dealing with, we have designed our level from level 1 to level 5 courses that people can do. We are currently we are piloting it with our members. Our members have gone through these courses, and we have an online course structure. We have an online examination structure. We have a certification structure. We're also connecting with some of the certification bodies globally to see if they can partner with us and we can bring those certifications in India. So that's something that is happening. Obviously, the members of ISHEL are the people who are gaining currently with all our piloting and all our experimentation. But yeah, that's something that we are very much keen on, and you know, we are doing it and taking things forward as well. So I just wanted to mention that. Viniti, carry on.
So next set is judging. We have Ranjit K's question. He's asking, who should ideally judge a show ring, and should there be a process to be a judge? Shouldn't the process be qualifiable with exact answers and no ambiguity? Shouldn't the existing people who are judges already without the process go through these paces as well? Then we have Munjal's question. Is there anything still considered or carry forwarded with endurance or athletic build of our war horse breed, which they were well known for in the history, or just beauty is considered nowadays? Then we have Sheikh Yasir's question. Details about the factors and criteria on which a Marwari horse is judged in the ring nowadays.
Who should ideally judge? See, as far as I am concerned, I would suggest that a man who's got it is the duty of the organizers to select a person who has a reputation of being fair, just, and in the general world is the first feature. Then comes a complete knowledge on the breed. He should know why he's there. He should have the the urge of, or rather the intention of promoting the breed. Why do we judge a horse show? Why do we actually have a horse show? So we should have the objectives clear. I mean, then comes the knowledge on the other sister breeds. You should, if a person is judging a Marwadi breed, he has to have knowledge and information on the characteristics of the other breeds, so that he can differentiate between two breeds. You know, many a times there are sorry, am I audible? Hello, am I audible?
Yes,
we can hear you. Yeah.
Am I audible?
Yeah,
so
yeah,
we can hear you. Yeah.
Yeah. Many a times there would be people who would come up and say that this horse is such a beautiful horse, but it is not actually beauty that the judge is looking for. It is beauty or characters prescribed to the, relating to the breed characteristics of the breed. If it is not beauty, many a times we would come across things which might look beautiful to one eye, but they are practically not desirable characters. So there are a lot of things which goes through a judge's mind. And when he observes from close counters, yes, of course, everybody notices a lot of things. But I also do that. I mean, there have been times when I've raised issues, why didn't you make this particular horse? This is such a fantastic horse. But when I went and looked at it on closer quarters, there were reasons why that horse didn't win. But not the same. I don't say that it is always the same case. But we have to have we have to build up a system of having faith in the in the judges. It will only happen after, you have to select a judge with utmost care. The judges, the organizations, because there are so many organizations now having horse shows, they have to be very careful in selecting people who are judging their shows. They should be of integrity. There are a lot of protocols which needs to be followed. I can't discuss here in a 2-minute show, but there are a lot of requisites besides only having knowledge on the horse. The person should not be erratic with his behavior. He should be generally accepted. Should not have a reputation for being unjust in general daily life also. So there is a lot of horse requirement besides the information on the horse.
I think this is a very pertinent question section, and perhaps sometimes in future we should have a conversation just on the basics of judging and what should be the foundation of judging and how people should be judging and all those kind of things. I think it's an important aspect, and we should be concerned about it and understand it more better. If there's a framework that you have available, I think that would be a good starting point for such conversations as well. That's what I think, sir.
Yeah, absolutely.
Viniti, yeah.
Okay, so now the next section it's the last section. It's Nukra. So Ranjit Khair is asking, is Chamba considered a part of Marwadi breed? And does it originate from Nukra? If yes, then why is Nukra not included in Marwadi?
See, Nukra is now declared as a breed. So why would anybody want to include the Nukra into Marwadi judging? What is the need? It is being judged on a regular basis in Punjab shows, and even outside Punjab also. We had a show in Jodhpur which did judging for Nukras as well. So if we want to keep it as a breed, it has to be segregated from the Marwadi. If you want to inculcate again, then there'll be features. It was difficult. The types of Chamba that we discourage from entering the Marwadi rings are also types where there is too much of a white pigmentation, pinkish pigmentation on the muzzle area, or the blazes which enter the bald faces which enter into their neck area also, or going out of even the what do you call the stockings which go up and above the hocks and the knee of a horse, getting into the groin or the other area of the mare. So these are features which we have spoken on a lot of fronts, and we need to keep them separate, segregated. So Chambas basically, normally we judge Chambas also, but if it is too much of an overshadow of the Nukra color into it, then we tend to keep it as a separate breed. So I think there are two breeds now today. They are doing well. Marwadi is doing well in its own field, and let Nukra do well in their own things. Anything.
Okay, so here we are done with our sections, but in between the conversation, we got few questions from the audience as well. So Chetak festival team is asking that how we can differentiate between Marwadi and a Katiyawadi horse.
I just mentioned those points. I think I've done a lot of talking on those points only, and somebody who wants to know it, he can call me on a personal note so that I can clarify. Actually, it's not very, this is the first time I've been speaking on those forums, this kind of forum, and it's not easy and it's not comfortable for me to, speak without things, but I think I could have, fared and done some better justice having been live with you people. but I did try my best to do things with
Yes, sir.
whatever little time I got.
I think that question popped in while we were discussing this thing, and you have already answered that.
Yeah.
Vinity, we have one question from MD as well, right?
MD also, yes. Regarding limb and hoof conformation, what is more preferable? Like, what is preferable?
Regarding?
Limb and hoof.
I think, see, this is where I have to answer one more question with this. Along with this, somebody had asked that which we spoke earlier about was there are a lot of animals which are seen with the back or the rear portion higher than the withers. So these are many a times managemental issues also. We lack farriers now today, even in our areas. We don't get good farriers. So whatever come our way, we make use of them because they are difficult to get also. So many a times you would see a horse with high up heel and the rear and almost flattish heel for the front hooves, which are almost flat. So there are times when this is not a unusual feature. I see it very regularly in our areas also, because the farriers which come to our area and which people call is the farrier which charges the least amount of money. And and to say the rest, I mean, he is not so good. He is not so good. But now people have started taking care of their horses. I see horses from Punjab, from Maharashtra. They were even in Gujarat, even in Rajasthan, for that matter. People really care for their horse, and we have actually lost the old school of equine hoof management. I mean, the older people, there was a community which used to work and advise on these hoofs also. They had small chisels and they used to work in a very nice manner. They are out of business now. They don't exist anymore. Their children, they have adopted some other businesses and they go to other areas. So we have lost that whole art now. So now we are in the hands of this newer system, which is imported system of hoof care management. And in the breeding grounds, we don't have access to good grooms and good people who can do our hoofs and all. So I feel this is the reason, one of the reasons of the flattish and the upper side things and all showing up on a.
Yeah, that's where we also once again reiterate the importance of education. The education combined practice of it in the right kind of people. I have had a good association with Bernard, and he did one of our conversations as well. And our team also went to his institute, and some of the work that they are doing is amazing. I mean, if people have grooms working at their place and they want to really work for their horses, they should be sending some of the other people from their stables to such courses, because this is such an important aspect of an equine management, health management, the structure management, that it can't be overlooked. MD is also one of qualified farriers we have in India and of repute. And I've heard good things for MD from Bernard himself. So I'm sure, it's good to have these kind of people participating in our conversations and taking the learning forward. So MD, thank you for your questions, and thank you for the work that you do as well. Vinity, I think people who would like to speak now can unmute themselves and speak. If you have to Mr. Singh.
Just raise the hand so we can unmute them.
Yeah, or one by one. Yeah. Anyone wanting to ask any questions? Yes, yeah, Manish. Manish, you can go unmute yourself and then ask the. Yeah, thank you.
Hello, Vimal. Hello, Vinita, and Kamagani Gajona.
Kamagani.
One of my questions was that. One of my questions you attended, thankful to you, where I said that I have a skewbald stallion which is 4.5 years old, but since last 3 or 4 years of shows I've been visiting, there have been patterns of selection for the topmost stallions, like there was a time for the Tikka wala horse, then came the Blaze wala, then the grey horses will favored. So somehow I do not, since my horse is of Ratnakar line, he is in the range of what you said, a perfect Marwadi with very fantastic conformation. But being a skewbald, I am not able to carry guts to take him to any other shows, any of the shows. So that, you know, I'm breeding horses, or I'm rearing horses since only last 5 years. So I don't want myself to be get disappointed by, taking this horse to the show. So can you suggest that will the times come when people will start appreciating a skewbald horse, or can a skewbald horse be a winner of a show? Thank you.
Let me tell you one thing. A skewbald is a very good color, and we've had some very fine horses of this color. And basically, when you go into a show judging, the color or the color patterns or the color markings don't matter at all. Let me tell you one thing, sir. They don't matter at all. It is there are, and the size also doesn't matter. I mean, there are smaller horses. We've had a horse called what do you call it? Recently there was a horse in Maharashtra, in Gujarat. There are finer horses in Danta. There is one horse in Danta, beautiful horse and fantastic. They perform well. So it is not color where things are going wrong, or it is not blaze also where things are going wrong. Probably you are new to the horse world. Either the horse is not showing up those characters which are your horse cannot be marked negatively because of skewbald color. Let me tell you one thing. It is, you have to look into the other aspects which are there or not. But color absolutely, skewbald and piebald, they are all colors. We have a variety of color in Marwadis, and they all do well. There must be something else you must look into, which is it does not matter whether it is Ratnakar ka bacha or it is some other horse ka bacha. That doesn't matter. It hardly matters. So what is important is that in that particular time period, you have to exhibit your horse in the best possible manner. You have to see to it that the stance of the horse while the judges are watching is in the perfect manner. It is looking up in the perfect manner. It has attention in something distant. I mean, ears are kept in an attentive mode. The neck is showing well. So that is all you need to see. I mean, it is not because of the color. Let me tell you one thing, sir.
Thank you, Banna. One more question for Viniti is that, Viniti, can I have a link of this recorded entire session so that, you know, I can see it as and when required to grasp more knowledge from what Gaju Banna has told about horses?
Sure.
I am always there, sir. You can take my numbers.
I have your number, Banna.
So you call me anytime.
So what we will be doing, sir, all our conversations will be going on our YouTube page. So for anyone and everyone from India across the globe, whoever wants to visit our conversations again, can do that. We have had some fantastic conversations in the past, and we'll be having some good conversations in future as well. All of them will be available on YouTube in a few weeks to come. Yeah. Thank you. Mohit Payal. Mohit, you wanted to ask something, right? You can ask, yeah.
What is the future of Marwari horses in equestrian games and sports?
We have I assume there is a good future. Let us all work for that target. I mean, we have this association which has come up because it has got, I mean, it is all to promote equestrian activities, and it has got two, words into it. It is this is indigenous, and it is Equestrian Sports Association, so Sports League. So like there are this organization, and there are so many others. They all come up because to spread up awareness about sports. We must focus, and we must all try to prepare for that. I'm sure it has got a great future. Why not?
Thank you.
Yeah, thank you. Kuru, You wanted to ask something?
Yeah, hi there. First of all, everyone. Hi, Gajendra. Hope I'm audible.
Hello. Yeah,
Yes,
you
you
are.
are.
Please.
Okay. So I actually had a question. I think that was skipped. So I thought I'd raise it here once again. So, um, so I've been working on horses since past 15, 20 years on Marwari horses. And one thing I've noticed is our horses are really capable to compete on an international level, right? I hope all of us agree on that. Apart from the beauty, right? They obviously they are beautiful. They have the temperament and the presentation skills. Um, but one thing I see that they lack when you compare them to Arabian horses are the mane and tail. Arabian horses have very thick mane and tail, which really helps to build a decker on an international level in terms of shows or the overall market global value of the horse is really high. And I believe if we can work towards as individual breeders or lovers of the breed on enhancing the character traits of the Marwari, specifically on the mane and tail part, if we can find a way working along with the Indian government as well as the international governments to do some research around how to enhance the mane and tail of the breed. I think the Marwari will definitely beat the Arabian horse as a breed, and we can really reach to a different level. So I would like to know your views on this, especially from the local Jalore area or the Marwar area. Are there any tips on how we can enhance the mane and tail of the breed, or what are your views on that, sir?
Mane and tail. There have been out of our 16 substrains, there is a strain called Tajan. Now there are certain strains which are lighter on the mane. It's the mane is not very dense, and even the tail they are light on the hair part. But there are certain strains which are heavy on this thing. There's a breed called Varli Tajan. It has got an excessive amount of hair growth, and there are some more breeds which also have a lot of hair growth. So it depends, Kurubai, if you come across the right kind of horse. There are a lot of strains in our horses where even recently I saw a horse which was about 15.2, 15.3, and the tail was, it was dragging on the ground, and the mane was also, very long and almost reaching the shoulder of the horse. So it was, you may not have come across too many of them, but yes, there are horses which have a lot of tail and mane growth, if that was your question.
Okay, yeah, that was my question, Bana. So yeah, sure. So I think it's a matter of finding out the right breed to cross and create a better mane and tail out of our regular straights. All right, thank you.
Yeah.
Sir, I think we should have another conversation specifically on the different oaths that you are talking about. I think I'm also myself interested in knowing about them, because perhaps I don't know all of them, and not many people out there know all of them. And I think that can also help in people understanding more the process of selective breeding when it comes to their own stables and own horses, and also perhaps that's something that we can look for. Just a suggestion.
Why not?
Any other questions we have? Maria, something from your side? Let me tell you all of, it's not an introduction that I have to give. Almost everyone over here knows Maria for the fantastic photographs that she has taken of our horses. And thanks to Maria that, the world is getting to know more and more about our horses in a very, very, very artistic light. Maria, thank you so much for the work that you do.
Thank you.
When is your next trip to India?
I hope to come in December or January.
Okay, we look forward to having
But I
you.
also go to the Kachawadi. I see both.
Lovely, fantastic. You have taken some fantastic pictures of my own horses, which I, whenever I'm down, I just look at those photos and then, I'm back in spirits again. Thank you. Any other questions? If there are not, then we can close the session. Okay. I would request all of you, you have the email address on which we have communicated. Please do send feedback of how the session went and what you think can be improved. What all other topics can we, have speakers on, topics of interest. And, we as ISHEL invite you to work together. Some of you who would like to become members can inquire about membership, or if you would like to just work along with, being from outside, that's also fine. But, just let's just connect, and let's connect for the good of our horses and for the benefit of our horses, right? Sir, thank you so much for your time and efforts. And I think 2 hours of conversation is too less to incorporate the wealth of knowledge that you have on the Marwari horses. As I said, we do look forward for hosting more conversations in future. One of the good things of having online conversation is that we can reach people length and breadth of the country and overseas as well. So I think that's something that we need to consider. And I look forward to visiting you, your horses, the Jodhpur horses over there, and the offices, and talk more about what we are doing in this area, and how can we as ISHEL come to party with everything that you guys are doing. Thank you so much, sir. Thank you so much for all your efforts, and thank you, Viniti, for conducting this session very beautifully. I think we have had a very constructive session.
Yes,
Okay.
it was great having him on in our session.
I tried my best. I mean, it's difficult. I mean, these systems are slightly difficult to get into, and so. But whatever, there was a lot of questions. But anybody can reach me whenever time permits. I'll definitely get back to everybody. I do help everybody. I mean, whoever comes my way. So I'm always accessible. But there is one thing definitely there, that I am one man running and doing a lot of things. So I might not be able to take calls every now and then, but I do reply whenever time permits. All right. Thank you, and for bearing with me and for listening to me. All the best. Let's
No worries,
all
sir.
of us work together for the betterment of the Marwadi horses. All of us have to collect, and we are no one. We are definitely individuals, but we collectively have the same intention of putting these horses on the forefront, and making them rise and rise. And against all odds, there are a lot of odds within, outside, from the government, from international people. So we must keep doing our bit. All the best, everybody.
Thank you, sir. I think by the third conversation, you will be very well versed with the systems as well. We'll get you jacked up with all the IT systems that we will be using. To all of you, thank you so much for attending. I think the questions that you guys posted to us was fantastic, gave a meaning to the conversation, and we keep on, having these kind of conversations, and keep on being connected to ISHEL. Thank you so much, all of you, and have a very sweet evening. Thank you.